All right, so here we are. Couple of days left of Shavuos. We got out of the house a little bit over here. Finally got out of the house. But how's that feel to get out? Liberating.
I didn't even realize I'm out.
So we're the Fishers and the Spivaks are at this point like half social distancing, even though we're social distancing with everybody else. But our families are just so close, and we've been together so much that we're like at 3.5 feet. I would say about 3 feet. 3 feet. So how's it been locked in the house?
I don't think he can affect me in any way more than he already has.
Mm-hmm. Has it been locked in the house for the last?
It's got its challenges, got its blessings. There's a lot of amazing memories. A lot of amazing memories we're gonna have as a family, as individuals, and a lot of challenges. People are hurting in many ways. It's like the rest of the world, there are pros and cons, and there's good stuff and there's hard stuff.
So moving on to a good note, though.
All right, this is good too.
We have what's good?
No, all the good memories we're going to have as a family. It's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure there's a bright side to that. So moving on to a good note. So we have 2 days now left of Shavuos. 2 days left. We're rounding up the 49 days of the Omer, and we have 2 days left of Shavuos. So I'd love to bring something out here about Shavuos. Let's talk a little about Shavuos.
Yeah. Well, for one, to me, it's...
So you were going to talk first, I guess. Okay.
No, I just when we talk about Shavuos, I think it is one of the least known Jewish holidays in the Jewish community. It's just...
What do you mean, why?
I don't know why. I have some theories, but I think Pesach, Seder, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur.
What do you think the most celebrated holiday is?
In the
Jewish calendar, most celebrated holiday.
I'm going to say Hanukkah.
So I think the most celebrated, and anybody can check up the facts, but I think it's the Pesach Seder is number 1.
Okay.
Kol Nidre is number 2. Obviously, people haven't heard Yudaven yet, so definitely the numbers would drop. But that's number 2, and then I think 3 is Hanukkah. Yeah. So and I'm sure Shavuos is probably last after like Lag BaOmer and
Tu B'Shvat. You get to Shavuos. Even though it's one of the 3 principal chagim. Pilgrimages. The dyslexic guy's telling you how to speak.
So Shavuos, what's it about? Give us an idea. Give us something to take home.
Well, it is like all the chagim. It's a double holiday. It is both the wheat harvest, which obviously was a tremendous celebration in Eretz Yisrael, and the story of Ruth is also about the wheat harvest, and we read that on Shavuos. But primarily, it is the 49th day from the Exodus, from Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's actually the 50th day, 49 days of counting, and on the 50th day, and that's the day that we got ready to receive the Torah. So that's the Kabbalat Torah, the reception of the Torah. We prepared and got ready for receiving of the Torah. The Torah actually, the revelation at Sinai and the Ten Commandments came the next day, because Moshe added one more day of preparation for the people to get ready. But we were ready on the first day of Shavuot, and the second day outside of Eretz Israel, outside of Israel, we celebrate 2 days, and on the second day is when we actually receive the Torah.
Okay, so it would be correct to say that Shavuos is the day that celebrates the receiving of the Torah.
Absolutely.
Not like people think maybe Simchas Torah does, which it's incorrect.
Correct.
It's correct that I'm incorrect. That is incorrect. Simchas Torah is. I didn't just stutter. That was you. Simchas Torah is your ears. Simchas Torah is the completion of the Torah. It's the completion of the Torah cycle, which is going to be interesting this year, since we missed about. We've already now missed about a fourth of the cycle already. So, but okay. So, and Shavuos is the day that celebrates the receiving of the Torah. So, I have a question for you, Rabbi. You're going to earn your money right over here. How many commandments are in the Torah? Don't stall. Come on.
We have a tradition that there are 613 commandments, but there are many, many more, because some of them are categories and which have subcategories and so on. But 613, I think we all know that.
How don't belittle me. How would I know? I'm a person, let's say, just learning the commandments, or even if I've been learning it, there's a lot to know, right? So how would I know where to take my next step? I want to grow. I want to be a person who's incorporating Torah in my life. I want to be a person who Torah becomes meaningful, becomes a life skill, a tools for living. How do I know where to go?
That's a fabulous question.
I just made it up on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm trying to stall the clock because and the paycheck. I wasn't renewed for next season anyway, so
it's your last season.
This is it.
Thanks for having me on your last season. It's the last licks here. It's a fabulous question because the Torah wants us.
Actually, you wanted some musical gas. I'm not sure what you're doing. Okay.
The Torah wants us to perfect ourselves, to become better people to ourselves, better people to other people, and better people in our relationship with the Torah giver. And so, how do we do that, and what do we focus on? So there are two aspects. We have to better the things we're already doing. So if I'm already doing Shabbos, I make Kiddush Friday night and light the Shabbos candles, and I make a Shabbos meal. So how do I make that better? So the things I'm already doing, not only to not stagnate in them, to perfect them, to become more enthused by them, to make them alive, because it's a living Torah. Kihem chayenu. It's the Torah we say in the blessing in the tefillah, we say Kihem chayenu. This is our lives, and the Torah really says so. This is your life. So we have to live it as opposed to just do it. Live the Torah. Be awake. Be alive. And so the one place to work on is what I'm already doing, to do it with meaning, with enthusiasm, with mindfulness, with attentiveness. Really to live it. That's the first place I would focus. And I think it's not coincidental that the holiday of Shavuot is at a harvest holiday. I think the Torah is telling us you have to be ready to harvest in order to get there. So you have to look at yourself and you say, okay, what can I really do and manage? What's manageable for me? And if you bite off too much or you harvest too early, then you've ruined it. You've lost it. So I think when we look at what are next steps, I'm always becoming better. I can't skip any steps. I got to look at, okay, what's manageable step for me to do to become a better person to myself, a better interpersonally, and with my relationship with the Torah giver. So I got to look at the Torah and say, that's too much for me to bite off. But there's something I can do, and I ought to do that next step as well. So if we're talking about Shabbat, so I'm going to make Kiddush Friday night, and I'm lighting the candles, and I have two challahs, and I'm saying the bracha, and we're gathering together as a family. But am I unplugging so that I can be focused on what Shabbos is for me and the relationship and the connection and the family, or am I not doing that? So what's the next step that I can do that's realistic, that's manageable, and I can maintain?
That's a fascinating idea. I wanted to run something by you and tell you something that I was just thinking and wondering what you think about it. But hear me out first before you answer. So, if Shavuot is commemorating the giving of the Torah, not commemorating any specific mitzvah, but the receiving and the giving of the Torah in its entirety, then maybe, and I'd love to hear what you have to think, maybe just our relationship and our connecting and toiling and learning Torah in and of itself, that in itself is an accomplishment. Meaning, a lot of people look and like, well, it's intellectually stimulating, or how am I going to take this to better my relationship or my job or meaning in life? But the growth in learning Torah, the growth in incorporating and understanding Torah in itself is a muscle builder. And that's why maybe there's a holiday that specifically surrounds just receiving the Torah.
That's wonderful. It's the relationship with the Torah learning, the relationship with Torah not only as a stimulating topic, not only for the in-depth thought that you can get from it, but as the relationship with the lawgiver. So it's Torah lishma, Torah for its sake, for the relationship that it gives you with Hashem, with the giver of the Torah. So we're receiving the Torah. We say, hey, I'm going to celebrate this by learning, and that is a tradition. There's a tradition for many generations already to have a Torah learning throughout the night of Shavuot, to remain awake and learn. Although usually it comes at the expense of learning something during the day, but yes, that is a tradition. So I think that is befitting the holiday itself, to see the value in Torah study, in Torah texts, in connecting with that, not for the cognitive stimulation, but for the value of the relationship with Torah and Hashem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Wonderful.
I want to say an idea at the risk of alienating.
Me?
No, that would be fantastic. At the risk of alienating some of our listeners, something that's kind of like recurring in my mind throughout the pandemic, throughout this last, how many weeks has it been? 11 weeks or something like that. We're on our 12th. This will be our 13th. If we don't hear the Kriyat HaTorah in the shul this week, I think it's our 13th parsha, the 13th Torah reading that we will have missed. So we missed the entire Vayikra, the entire Leviticus, the tail end of Shemot, and now this will be the second parsha in Bamidbar.
Well, there's no Torah reading a parsha this week because of
Shavuot.
Shavuot.
That's right. Shavuot is the second day. That's right. Shabbos falls on. Right, so Shavuot falls on Shabbos. There's no reading. Okay, so it saves us one potentially. We'll see if we get the week after. But we're far in, pretty far in. And one thing that's occurred to me is I've heard a lot of people, and myself included, I'm guilty as well. When this whole thing started, like we're in lockdown, so there was that first initial shock, that initial we're going to be in lockdown and this is terrible. And then okay, look, I have time. I'll use my time. I'll pick up a skill. I'll learn how to play piano. I'll learn how to learn another language. I'll learn
care for goats.
I'll make goat cheese. I'll learn how to be a better neighbor. Another thing you didn't manage that well. I'll learn how to whatever it is. I'll learn how to do. I'll use my time. And we're 11 weeks in now. And what's happened to that time? Still, I'm thinking about how to use it. I'm still I'm deciding how to use it. Time passes and it passes and it passes. As I've been a rabbi now for 15 years in this community. You don't have to applause. I didn't touch him.
15 years?
15 years, yeah. And I'm only 25. So I've been a rabbi for 15. I was born. My hair's growing in. I'm on the way in. So
you just touched me.
So I've been a rabbi now for 15 years, and I've heard so many people make so many promises of things. Oh, I'm going to learn and I'm gonna be able to take on more, and I want to learn how to do this, and I want to learn how to do that. And how much are we really educated in Torah? I mean, even myself, I feel like I have so much to learn. And I look and I listen to people who they don't know much about the area of Torah that they think that they know. And I don't know so much about the area of Torah that I think that I know. And there's so much to learn. People just committing, just seeing through that commitment. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use my time. I'm going to make this meaningful. The time that I have to grow in Torah. And somehow, when Shavuot comes around each year, that's what strikes me at the night of Shavuot. That even though, often people stay up all night, even though they're tired, and you're pushing, I want to use it every second for this night to show my commitment towards learning Torah. How am I doing?
Yeah,
This is why I got canceled, by the way. And I feel just oh my gosh, when is he going to stop?
No, that's great. The staying up at night to learn is showing the commitment, and learning Torah requires a commitment. If you look at the written Torah and the Bereshit, the Parshios. I mean, they're so deep. There's so many ideas. Every year you read it and you see something new. Every year you see a new commentary and it enlightens the verses you've already seen, the psukim you knew in a new way. Then you have Mishnah and Gemara and Halacha, and you have Midrash, and you have then you can get to the depths of Kabbalah. And I mean, there are so many things to learn. And every time you hear something, it's like, oh my, this is so fascinating. Sometimes it challenges our preconceived notions and ideas, and we have to think about it. And sometimes it sits so well with us, but enlightens it and shows us a new side of something we already knew. But it's tremendously stimulating, but an enormous effort. We only scratch the surface. We say on Shabbos morning, Torah Hashem Tamima. And there's a Hasidic teaching from the Baal Shem Tov that says, Torah Hashem Tamima translates as the Torah of Hashem is complete. And he says that what it means is that no matter how deep we go, we're not even scratching the surface. It's still whole. We haven't really penetrated the depths of it. It's the Torah, right? So on the simple meaning, it means the Torah is complete, meaning it covers all aspects and perfects a person in every aspect of their lives and pertains to the whole person and to the whole world. But in this play on words, it's teaching the idea that it's vast. Rechavam miniyam, it's broad. It's broader than the seas. I mean, it's enormous. It's a blueprint for life. It gives so much wisdom and so much depth, and we're always learning. I mean, at 100, you're learning, and you're still only scratching the surface. It's a very deep thing, but that's the concept. It's not about mastering Torah. It's about learning and attaining bits by bits of the commitment to get more and more and more.
It's fantastic. I have to end with one story because it just popped into my head while you were talking, and then we'll let all these nice people go. It just popped into my head. 19 years ago, tomorrow, 19 years ago, my oldest daughter Elishava was born. It's her birthday. Her English birthday is today, and your birthday is tomorrow. 19 years ago. Oh, thanks. I did nothing. And she was born in Shaare Zedek Hospital in Israel. And I remember being being in the hospital with my wife. We went into she gave birth to Elishava, and Shavuot came, and we went into Shavuot, and I spent Shavuot in the hospital with my wife. And if you want to daven, if you want to pray in a really powerful synagogue, you pray in the synagogue in Shaare Zedek, in the hospital. You're talking about people walking in. They have their own synagogue in the hospital. People are walking in their gowns. People with IVs. They're coming into daven, and people are just they're really praying. It's
surgeons right before or right after a surgery. People themselves.
People that are coming in, and you don't even know if they're expecting this is their last prayer of their life. I mean, it's extremely powerful. So I'm sitting there on Shavuot Day, though, and I wanted to learn. It was Shavuot Day. And there was no one in the hospital in the synagogue, in the Beit Midrash there, in the synagogue of the hospital. And I'm sitting there and I'm studying. And suddenly I see this elderly man. He must have been, I said elderly now 400 years old. He must have, I see an elderly man, somebody who is in maybe his probably, I'm putting my foot on it now. But I see,
upper 50s.
Maybe he wasn't so elderly. I see, how old are you? I see a man who's probably in his upper 70s, and a white beard, and he comes to the table. He grabs a Talmud, and he puts it on the table, and then he grabs another Talmud, and he puts that on the table, and then he disappears. And he comes back wheeling a wheelchair of a person who looks like they're in maybe 90, upper 90s, 98, in a wheelchair, old man in a wheelchair. And he puts him by the second book. So the 78-year-old man is by book 1, and this 98-year-old man is by book 2. And the 78-year-old man turns to him and he says, "Okay, Dad, let's go on." And they both look over the Gemara, and the old elderly father with the magnifying glass says, "Where were we?" And they continue. And I looked at it. It was so striking to me. And I was like, he's 90. He must be in his upper 90s. He's in the Shaare Zedek Hospital. I don't remember if he had an IV or not, but he was in a wheelchair. And he's got something to live for. There's like, what do you mean? This time that the clock's still ticking, the shot clock's still going. There's more to go. There's more to learn. And I contrasted that with people. I remember Brooklyn in the old days. The people sitting on their porch and just watching the cars go by and waiting for like kind of the nature to take its course. And this guy was looking at every last second. To me, that was a Shavuos memory.
Wow, that's powerful.
Besides the fact that I also had a baby girl, which is also a great Shavuos memory. In any case,
that was very powerful. Really, the Kihim Chayenu, for that is our life. Yeah, that's tremendous. Thank you for that story. And Mazel Tov and Elisha's 19th birthday.
Yeah,
it's you're getting to be a big boy now that you have a 19-year-old daughter. Yeah, I know of a good guy for her.
Okay, we're gonna cut to commercial.
All right, wishing you all a Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Have a wonderful Chag Yantiv in connecting with Torah, connecting with the receiving of Torah, and the recognition of Kihim Chayenu. It is our life.